All right, welcome to another episode of Powerhouse Conversations, where we bring on guests to have dope conversations about how to innovate in your personal brand in sports. Today we have Acacia Lofton. We'll be having a great episode to talk about women in sports. We'll talk about NIL, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into how you can help build your own personal brand and what the NIL landscape is looking like moving forward. How are you doing,
I'm
Acacia?
doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So I definitely want to talk about your background. I want to lay some foundation to something that you should be very proud of, and I want to definitely give you your flowers. But you were one of the 30 athletes, female athletes that NIL Empower 2.0 class for Meta. So I definitely want to congratulate you and give you opportunity to talk about how all this started and how this came about. But let's start with you and your background and how you tell them about the sports you play and everything.
Well, my name is Acacia Lofton. I'm from Northern Virginia. I attend the illustrious Clark Atlanta University here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a part of the AUC, so we're right across the street from Spelman, Morehouse, Morris Brown. My sport is track and field, and I'm a pole vaulter. I won a gold medal and broke my school's record my freshman season, which was earlier this spring. Um, so after following my freshman season, I was invited to the NIL Summit, and that's actually where I learned a lot about NIL and made a lot of really great connections that led me to the opportunities and deals that I have today. So that was a really important part of my journey. I'm a business major, so
Okay, good.
yes, I'm a real hard major.
Yep, yep. So, for those who don't know, can you give a brief overview of what Meta is doing and how did you what's your responsibilities?
So, Meta is basically they created a group of 30 women. Well, chose 30 women who all applied to the group.
Hmm.
And we're all basically getting like branding coaching. We get individual coaches to help us. They also help us when we're looking at different options for our future. If we just need someone to talk to, it's a really great program because I've learned so much and made some great connections. I actually got an internship off of the
Okay.
program that I'm really excited about. They've helped me make some great connections and really just help understand my personal brand as an athlete, marketing, how
Hmm.
to make money, whether it be on TikTok or Instagram or outside of the social media space. It's really a great educational program. And being a part of the program, you just go to the meetings, you learn, I try to take advantage of as many opportunities as possible because even though I'm really busy with, of course, being a student and an athlete, I also am a member of the CAU choir and I also model here in Atlanta. So I'm really busy, but I try my best to like come to
Right.
things and take advantage because I know it's such a great opportunity.
Right, right. And so you kind of spoke to a lot with your brand and what goes into your personal brand, because a lot of people, they think about, okay, well, the person as an athlete, but you talked about all the other things that you have involved. So are you leveraging those other talents, those many talents that you have?
Absolutely. The first thing I started modeling before I even started doing track, and my first NIL deal was actually a modeling deal. And I didn't know much about NIL at all at the time. It was, I believe, October of 2021. That was my first ever
Mhm.
time signing with the company. I had done some deals on TikTok in high school because I had over 10K followers. So companies had
Mhm.
started to reach out. But my first deal was modeling, and I think having a background in modeling that really has helped me with NIL because I've been able to do some deals with some clothing brands and get into fashion, which I
Mhm.
really love.
Yep.
So that helped me a lot.
Yep. No, that's cool, because I think the biggest thing that I've seen with the NIL is that the deals have to be, things that make sense to you as the athlete, right? So making sure that you're partnering with brands that make sense and that something that you're going to enjoy, because a lot of people, they may just go ahead and sign with just anybody just because they're offering some money. But instead, if you're partnering with brands that are going to be in conjunction with what you like, that's going to be perfect for you.
Exactly, especially if you're promoting it on social media, because that is your personal brand, and you don't want to
Hmm.
have a fake facade to
Right.
supporters and fans because they love
Right.
who we are, not just what you can get money from.
Right, because you got to build that trust. Because once they figure out that, oh well, she'll just push anything that somebody sends to her, then why would I continue to trust you?
Absolutely.
Yep. So let's talk about a little bit about some of the things that you're doing. Because you said you started on social media even back when you were in high school. So how did was that purposeful, or how did that come about?
It was sorry, it was on purpose. um,
I made that word up. It was me.
LOL. It was on purpose. I started singing when I was very, very young. So I would sing on social media all the time. And I was always pretty skinny. People always told me, like, oh, you should be a model. Like, you have a pretty
Mhm.
face. You can model this, that, and the third. You're a little tall. So I would, like, always post pictures on Instagram. Plus, it's just fun to do as, like, a
Right.
teenager. Um, and
Right.
TikTok, of course, is huge. So when I
Hmm.
started making TikToks, it was just for fun. And then I think I had like 50K on a video I made
Hmm.
like right before I was going to work. And then I got serious about it and started posting consistently. And that actually helped me build my brand a lot. And I learned a lot in that process. That was my senior year of high school. So that's how I got
Hmm.
into social media.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And um did you take what you had from social media, then did you leverage that following, that numbers, and are you already purposely taking that to get your brand deals, like you taking those analytics and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
okay.
My following isn't huge. I have like 14K on TikTok and
Hmm.
about 3,000 on Instagram. There are people with hundreds of thousands, millions of
Hmm.
followers.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the important thing is that you have an audience, and brands will want to work with you if like they see that they like your audience, they like your analytics. So yeah, I definitely take my insights and I study my analytics all the time for both TikTok and Instagram.
Hmm.
Um, and I definitely use that in my media kit. Well, it
Yeah.
helps me as well with that, but
Gotcha. And so you created a media kit that you sent out.
my agent has.
Okay. So you have an agent. Okay, cool. And that actually brings me to one of the other things that wanted to ask about is just so you did sign with a NIL agent,
Mhm.
and so when you sign with the NIL agent, can you also be on those NIL platforms, the like the moguls and the
Yes,
marketplaces?
yes. I am
Okay.
an athlete, as well
Okay.
as
Okay.
a redshirt athlete. So
Cool, cool. Yeah, I've Mogul has came on the a podcast before, so shout out to
yes,
Mogul. So that's good.
love them.
Yep. And so, what's your thought? What's your I guess your strategy when you're going on these NIL marketplaces to find deals?
Honestly, when I go on a marketplace, I'm just looking for things that I'm looking for deals that are catered to people like me. A lot of times
Hmm.
they're going to be looking for people at really big name schools, a lot of
Hmm.
male dominant sports, like basketball and football. Those are always going to be the
Hmm.
most popular sports, especially in the
Right.
community. Um,
Right.
so a lot of those deals, like, they're just not for me. They're not looking for
Right.
a young woman like myself. So
Right.
looking for something that is tailored to me and that fits my personal brand. That's
Hmm.
what's best.
Yep. And so, especially you spoke to it, with you being a young woman, you also being a black woman. Um, are to me, there's a big opportunity for, black businesses and, different partnership deals that can uh, close that gap that's there, right? Because like you said, everybody's going in and they're looking for these specific players with these specific metrics, but when they're coming, there's an opportunity for Black women to come in, and because like you said, you've been able to capitalize on social media since you were in high school. That's a big opportunity for these businesses to partner with you all.
Yes. Was there a question in that?
No, I was making. I was just. It was just a comment. I was just a comment. Just a comment.
Cool
Um.
though, because being a athlete at a HBCU, like the different
Mhm.
type of companies that would like to work with you, it's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And so can you speak to the differences that you're seeing in the types of deals that they're offering you versus maybe some of your counterparts at PWI? Do you talk to anybody?
Oh, of course. Sometimes I feel like we're so underrepresented, but at the
Hmm.
same time, I saw a lot of companies trying to monetize off of like homecoming and get into
Hmm.
the culture because it was such a big part of October. October
Right.
homecoming month, period.
Right. Right. Right.
I go to Clark Atlanta. Morehouse is right across the street. I went to their homecoming tailgate. I went to NCAT
Right.
homecoming weekend. So it's a really big part of Black culture for
Hmm.
college students, for Black people, period, honestly.
Right.
Um, so that I definitely saw companies trying to tap into it. And
Hmm.
the effort was definitely seen. But of course, if I went to a huge school like Duke or UCLA, I definitely think I would be able to monetize more and brand myself better off of doing that. But I don't go to those schools, so it
Right.
doesn't
Right.
really make sense for me to necessarily compare myself unless it's for something productive.
Right.
I just think like I'm a Black student at a HBCU. I'm a business major and I'm a gold medalist. And I just
Right.
do track. I also do choir and I model and
Right.
things. So I can market myself based off of my gifts and talents. I don't necessarily want to stress on what I'm not getting.
Right, right. No, and that's definitely the way to go about it, right? So, making sure that you're not, trying to compete, but just carving out your own lane and making sure that you're doing what you're doing the best you can.
Absolutely.
Um, and one of the things that I definitely think is good for you is that a lot of people, like I said, they'll partner with people, but they're not able to utilize what they've been doing and then take it along after those 4 years are up, and what you're being able to create and what you're being able to do, you're gonna be able to leverage that even after you leave Clark Atlanta.
I have to
So
thank Empower 2.0 and Meta because they've taught me so much about taking what I'm learning now and using it in the post college space, in the post college
mhm.
world. So shout out Meta.
Yep, shout out Meta. So I want to dive a little bit into your background and because I know you did say you're a business major. So who are some of your favorite business people that inspire you?
uh, I don't want to only say athletes, but the first one who comes to mind is LeBron James. Of course, Beyonce. She's such an inspiration to me, of course, especially being that I sing as well. Um,
Mhm.
Beyonce, Jay Z, LeBron James. They've really built empires, and I used to study them a lot in high school. Rihanna, she's Bayesian like me. My mom is partially Bayesian and Ghanaian, so
Okay.
and am a huge fan. Especially with her transitioning from music to makeup, and I love
Right.
makeup. So even in our business classes, my professors have mentioned her work
Right.
in business and how we can learn from that, especially being a
Right.
woman, being so successful. I definitely look up to her.
Gotcha, gotcha. I definitely love that list. I'm a huge Jay-Z, Beyonce, so fans of all of those. Um, who was your favorite athlete growing up?
Um, my favorite athlete growing up. Oh, Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Did you play basketball or
My dad played
just
basketball in college, so I grew up watching all the time.
cool, 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 cool. What was your favorite? We'll go with. I was going to ask for just your favorite album in general, but you can give me your. or you sound like you look like you have one.
I don't. I don't. I
Give me a give me give me a top three.
well, okay, it changes all the time. So,
Yeah.
Earth, Wind, and Fire greatest hits. Um,
Okay.
Beyonce 4
Okay.
and Temptations Essentials. But I
Cool.
want to say
Cool.
Stevie Wonder too. Ah,
So are you also releasing music? I know you said you sing. Like, are you releasing like music as you?
I'm really busy doing like track and school and modeling right now. That takes
Mhm.
up a lot of my time, but hopefully in the future before I graduate college.
Cool, 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 cool. And so another thing that I did want to talk about was just the balance of that, right? So I mean that's a lot. That like you're very multi talented. You have to be able to balance all of that. How do you go about balancing it?
Honestly, just being disciplined is the most important thing, because you're gonna lose motivation like
Hmm.
a lot, and motivation you can't rely on that. Being disciplined is the most important thing. I used to like schedule out my weeks when I'm going to
Hmm.
be at practice. That really helps me stay not stressed and not feeling overwhelmed. Um, yeah, definitely scheduling out my weeks. Making sure I'm
Hmm.
getting my homework done on time. I have to check my homework like every day, of course.
Right,
Of course, I've slipped up and let assignments slip by. Really, just
right.
trying to stay on top of everything can be really difficult and stressful, but at the end of the day, you have to do what you got to do.
Gotcha. Are there things in place for like mental health support and things of that nature,
Mhm.
or like okay?
There's on campus therapists, and then of course you have like your coaches and your fellow teammates or fellow athletes at the school. I know a lot of
Hmm.
the athletes, especially the football players at the school, because we always see them during practices. There's counselors on campus. I actually do go to the school therapist. I try to go
Hmm.
like once a week just to take care of your mental
Cool.
health,
Yep.
because I feel like it's not free, of course, because you're paying tuition. But if it's
Right.
not coming out of pocket, I think it's the right
Right.
decision to
Yeah.
advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, you definitely have to take advantage of it because, like you said, it's coming out of your tuition. So if you don't use it, you're you're basically essentially losing it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that you want to make sure that you're doing. But I love that you talked about the discipline aspect of it, and you talked about the motivation isn't always going to be
Hmm.
there, and that's something that a lot of people definitely as an athlete. You understand that you have to stay disciplined because the motivation is not going to always be there, and the things, the systems and the things that you put in place is what's going to help you be able to do the things that you do, especially with the schedule that you have. Like you said, you're an athlete, you're a student. You have, and your major, you're a business major. So that's an extra little kick because, just with going through those business classes, I can definitely I went through it, so I understand as a student athlete of being a business major and being trying to balance that. But then also, like you said, you're modeling, you're taking on all these other responsibilities. So that's definitely commendable that you're able to balance all that and stay disciplined. And then stay disciplined while the motivation isn't necessarily there.
Thank you.
Yep. And so another thing I did want to talk to you about was just some of the things that Clark Atlanta is putting in place for you all as NIL. Do y'all have any support to learn more about NIL and things of that nature?
Um, with NIL being so new, I definitely think that the school is building on our NIL
Hmm.
space.
Right.
Um, I definitely think there'll be more in the future. Right now, it's kind of base level, but
Hmm.
there are a lot of great opportunities to learn about NIL and just branding in general here at Clark. Because
Hmm.
a lot of things I learned about branding in my business classes before I even knew what NIL was. When I
Right.
got my first deal, I didn't know about NIL. I just knew I was getting a deal because
Right.
somebody liked my Instagram. So
Right.
you can learn a lot without.
Just in your normal classes and stuff and things of that nature. And the reason I asked is because like I said, I went to HBCU as well. Went to Alabama State University, and I know that a lot of the things that that are given to others aren't the resources that we don't necessarily have it, and those are some of the things that we want to see, and the things that I want to help bring to some of the HBCUs. So just interested in hearing what your experience has been like, at Clark.
I there really hasn't been a lot of NIL
Hmm.
talk. Of course, I do have to get deals cleared by compliance.
Yep.
But I haven't had like an NIL class, or
Hmm.
I haven't been to meetings specifically for NIL. But I
Gotcha.
have been chosen to go to like the NIL summit. I learned about,
Right.
but for like the average athlete, I don't necessarily think.
Think that they are. Yep. And that's the opportunity, like you said. I think that's the best way to put it is there's an opportunity to make sure that we're helping and assisting with those athletes, because like I said, some of these companies are coming on campuses, and they're doing these things, but then we want to make sure that the HBCUs are getting that same type of resources and those same types of knowledge that you are fortunate to be able to get, but the overall student athlete, we want to make sure that they're able to get those as well. So I think that's good.
Absolutely. And I always like tell everybody, all my friends, like if you guys have any questions, just let me know, because all
Yep.
the knowledge that I've received, I'm freely giving.
Even if,
But
yep.
my teammates, if they have any questions about NIL, they can always come to me. I'll ask my agent or one of my mentors from the team at Meta, or even one of my other mentors. So if there's any information that I have, I'm definitely freely giving it.
No, that's good. That's definitely good, and that's something that. Oh, did I lose you? I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. No, no, I think that's definitely something that is needed. When you when you get information, always being able to bring it back, because that's something that other people aren't able to get. Um, I know we're wrapping up and getting towards the end, but what are some of the things that you wish you knew when you started out? I know you're still kind of young and you're in it, but what are some of the things that you had to get, the hurdles that you had to get over?
Just understanding how many possibilities there were. I thought
Hmm.
it was just like I can get free clothes because people are on
Right.
Instagram, but like there are athletes getting cars, there are athletes getting six-figure deals, and they're the
Hmm.
same age as me. I didn't know that that was possible, and I was really
Right.
thinking about it. So really, just like opening my horizons and just reaching out to companies. I've reached out to companies before, but I always would do smaller companies so they would actually see my
Hmm.
message. Um,
Hmm.
and then after the NIL summit, I just started reaching out to everybody, and some really big companies responded, and I was really surprised.
Right. And so what's that process like? Are you going straight DMs? Are you trying to find somebody within the company to reach out to in email, or like what's that process like?
I've reached out to companies via DM, via email, different apps. I'm I'm gonna shoot my shot. That's one thing that I learned.
Exactly.
And of course, I
Exactly.
have my agent to help me with that as well, because school does get busy, so I can't just be going in
Right.
the DMs all the time. But when I
Right.
started and I didn't have any representation, and I got my first NIL deal, it was from sending
Hmm.
somebody an email, and they saw it, looked at my page, and signed me.
No, and I think that's something that is extremely underrated. It's as simple as it get, right? Like, I think people are scared to just shoot their shot, and like what's okay, they don't respond. Like, what's the so what? Like, just move
People
on to the
say
next
that,
one.
but it is scary. It's the same thing as people say that about relationships. Like, go ahead and shoot your shot. What's the worst they can say?
Yeah.
No, but it's still nerve.
It's that so and I think that that definitely comes with repetition, right? So it's still the same thing as like, you playing in the game. You shoot you're gonna miss 100% of shots that you don't take,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's the repetition of being able to be not being, the more you miss, the more you're going to not be afraid of that miss, is because it becomes, you become numb to it, like because you see the makes, so right.
Mm-hmm.
So it you definitely build confidence off of the makes and the misses, but to that point you have to shoot your shot.
Yeah, you do. I definitely am an advocate for shooting your shot, especially at these companies. For
Yep.
only
And
4 years, so.
Yep. And I think one thing that teaches you in the long run is like, because I've been in sales in different capacities in probably the last probably over a decade now, and I think what that teaches you is a skill that you're going to have to be able to use. Like you in everything in life, you're selling something. You're selling yourself. You're going to be, you're always going to be pitching some type of idea. You're going to be doing something that is going to take you being able to have to get over rejection and learn from that rejection, right? So I think that the skill set that you're gaining right now is going to be something that's going to take you regardless of whatever you do in the future.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're wrapping up. And did you have anything else that you wanted to discuss? What anything that you've learned that you want to give back to the people that are listening?
Take care of your mental health. As an athlete, it's so easy to just overwork yourself. And it's almost encouraged a lot of times to overwork yourself
Yeah.
because we do have such busy schedules. But taking care of your mental health and taking care of yourself and getting to know yourself is really important because we are young adults and most athletes don't go pro. So don't
Right.
die out here on the track
Right.
because you weren't taking care of yourself properly. Like you're not supposed to be out here to hurt yourself. Definitely
Right. Right.
take care of your mental health and your physical health. If you feel injured, like don't play.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is something that's definitely important, and I think that's something that should definitely be championed. Right, being able to understand and be able to take a step back and do what's best for you. I think that, like you just said, I think that's not accepted enough. It's like doing what's best for you is important, and you have to understand your body, and what your. I know people always think of your body as your physical body, but like you just said, your mental, doing what's best for you and taking a step back, slowing down, and understanding, where you need help at, how you can help yourself when you need a break, when you need to take some time off. I think that's very
And it's
important.
a learning process because I've definitely pushed through an injury when I wasn't okay
Yeah.
yet, just to win it. Just
Yep.
so, yeah, it's a.
Yep. No, I mean, and I mean, there's in sports, there's a certain level of perseverance that that you have to have, but there's a fine line in that, right? It's a is it worth it type thing? Like, okay, well, and this is something that comes along with just learning and growing, but what's the risk versus the reward? Like, is this something that is the risk, like, okay, well, I might tear something way worse than what it is. But if it's just, a little bit of pain, like that is something that, as an athlete you go through.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a risk to something that is going to affect you in the long term, you have to. That's where understanding that, and being able to have discernment is very important.
Absolutely.
But again, I really appreciate you coming on. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you again, and congratulations. And I'm extremely happy about what you're doing and all the things that you're doing. You're extremely talented, so I'm looking forward to everything that you're going to be able to do in the
Thank
future.
you. It's all God. I'm extremely blessed. So, all glory to the Most High, of course.
All right, so you can let the people know where to find you and what you have coming up next.
All right, you guys can find me at your girl Acacia, YAGIRLACACIA, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It'll be Acacia Lofton with the same spelling, and then just LOFTON. Coming up soon, I have some choir performances, and then next season, hopefully some big things on the track. So just looking forward to all the big news.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you.